just coming back after years of retirement, straight into the top 10 of the world rankings and fighting for the most prestigious belt of WBC.
From the dusty streets of General Santos City to the blinding lights of global arenas, Manny Pacquiao didn't just fight opponents, he fought poverty, doubt, and destiny. A boy with bare feet and big dreams, who rose to become an 8-division world champion, inspiring millions with every punch he threw. This is the legend of Manny Pacquiao.
I'm very concerned. I don't want to stop anyone from making a living, from making money. Who's giving away money to his people, probably too much. But he gave away money to his people that is in a position now that he has to fight at 46.
Among the many voices echoing online, one emotional fan reaction stood out, highlighting not just admiration, but deep concern. He gave so much to his people, the fan said, that now, at 46, he feels he has to fight again. This isn't just about boxing anymore, it's about sacrifice, legacy, and a man who never stopped giving.
Your dad threw 25 punches in 4 seconds. That is not normal. He looks amazing.
Yeah.
8'8" for the 8th wonder of the world.
Yeah.
How hard is it to do 1,600 push-ups every morning? Sit-ups, I mean.
Sit-ups? Oh, it's hard, yeah, definitely. You know.
Not for your dad.
Yeah, it tests you up here.
Even his son can't help but stand in awe. From calling him the 8th wonder of the world to watching his father knock out 1,600 sit-ups daily, this isn't just a comeback, it's a masterclass in mental grit. A force built over decades of discipline.
Kind of taking it away from somebody, you kind of got to find out what's there, right?
Absolutely, you know, you just have to believe in yourself, because if you don't, no one else will, and that's my thing.
Pacquiao's last fight against Ubis wasn't just a loss, it was a moment that shook fans worldwide. Bruised, swollen, and spoon-fed by his wife in post-fight footage, he looked like a warrior who had given everything. In the press conference, he hinted at retirement, reflecting proudly on decades of glory, sacrifice, and the honor he brought to the Filipino people.
Manny, you excited to step into the ring again?
Yes.
Back then, it felt like the end, the final chapter of Pacquiao's legendary run. But in 2025, with just one post, "I'm back. Let's make history." Everything changed. No warm-up fights. No slow return. Straight into a world title bout against a younger, active champion. Among the loudest voices questioning this bold move is veteran trainer and analyst Teddy Atlas. Pacquiao is training again, and he's making it known he's returning to dominate at 46.
He's a guy that's going to give everything and, you know, try his best. That's what Manny, one thing I always learned with Manny is give 110% and try your best.
Manny, he's returning to contest a world title against WBC welterweight titleist Mario Barrios on July 19th in Las Vegas.
I remember when I fought Errol Spence, and he was the first fighter to ever stop me, and everyone was asking, man, I mean, he must hit harder than Pacquiao and Ruslan. And I said, no, actually, he doesn't hit harder than either. They both hit harder than him. Well, how did he stop him? Like, he hit me with a lot. It wasn't the one punch. It was the number of punches that he landed on me that was able to get me out of it.
What makes Pacquiao a threat even at this juncture is the ferocity that characterizes him, the same intensity that destroyed Oscar De La Hoya, Miguel Cotto, and Ricky Hatton.
Manny Pacquiao getting back in the ring again for a world title fight.
Well, obviously, it definitely has to do with money, one. Two, I think Manny Pacquiao, I think his C game is a lot better than anybody, a lot of guys' A game, even with the age. But you have to take into account the last time he stepped foot in that ring against Ugas. You know, he didn't look good. He was outmatched by, you know, a fighter, a younger fighter. Barrios is no slouch.
He's battled and defeated boxers who were later predicted to be too big, too powerful, too young. Yet the speed, angles, and incessant belligerence of Pacquiao have made a mockery of them all. And the evidence from the new training videos is there, the old snap is intact.
He lost to Ugas.
Yeah, close fight.
Yeah.
Again, I think he gets a pass as Manny Pacquiao. You could put him one. I don't care. You know, I just want to, I don't mind seeing Manny Pacquiao fighting again for a title. Do I think it's fair? With all honesty, I don't think it's fair.
Yeah.
They should have just made it a fight, and that's it. No title involved. But you know how it is with these sanctioning with the sanctioning fees.
Sean Porter backed Pacquiao on the Porter Way podcast, saying if Manny finds his rhythm, his legendary left hand can still secure victory. He believes Pacquiao's speed and power remain a serious threat.
If I was cool with Manny Pacquiao coming back and fighting Keith Thurman, I'm definitely going to be cool with this one. Barrios is not a puncher. Thurman was one of the biggest punchers in boxing. I think he's going to be just fine with Mario Barrios, who we know what he is on the top level. He comes up short. He's been stopped by fighters that are less than Manny Pacquiao, Tank Davis. So I like this fight. I think he's not going to be an overwhelming favorite, but I think it'll be a 50-50.
On his podcast, Teddy Atlas expressed concern about Pacquiao fighting at 46 after 72 fights. He respects Manny's heart and legacy but fears he's playing with fire. Atlas warned that age and wear can't be avoided, no matter how you frame it.
Yeah, I read something about that, man. It's, that guy's my hero, you know, I named my dog after him and stuff like that, you know, still, but he's touching 50 years old. I think, you know, he should leave it where it is, you know, but, you know, obviously if you get a chance to share a ring with Manny Pacquiao, nobody's going to say no, you know.
Jeff questioned Pacquiao's title shot, saying he hasn't earned it through recent activity, just off his legendary name. While others are grinding for a chance, Pacquiao jumps the line after years away. It raises concerns about fairness, but his name still sells, and that's what keeps boxing going.
Yeah, Barrios is champion, so it's a good fight.
WBC champion.
You know, don't count Pacquiao. Everyone's counting Pacquiao out because of his age. It's like a bunch of haters, man. He still has tons of power, tons of speed, and a shitload of experience.
If Manny wins,
push out the Robin with his, you know, he wins at his age. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's not. Listen, he's 45, 46.
Are you leaving jail?
45, 46, but he's not. He's always active. Guys always stay active. He's always doing something. Mostly playing basketball, some sort of sport, something cardio. So no.
Bob Arum didn't speak directly against Pacquiao, but expressed worry over him returning, especially at an older age and so long out of the sport. He recognized Manny's legacy and place in his company but questioned putting him up against a champion at the moment. Arum cited that even George Foreman was younger and busier prior to his victory by title. Although he expressed doubts, Arum said he will still be supporting Manny. Robert Garcia also opines that Manny's age will play a large role and does not think the bout is a great idea, even though he can grasp the reason why it wasn't hard to secure.
Coming out of retirement.
Well, Pacquiao's a big name, and obviously Barrios a great fight for Barrios because, you know, he's a champion, and I think Pacquiao, you know, being that they both have connections with PBC, that's the easiest fight to make. So, you know, they're getting another title opportunity. You know, just the name, obviously, but I really believe that, you know, Pacquiao shouldn't be fighting. I think it's actually going to be a little, I don't want to say sad because he's going to make a lot of money, so we can feel sorry for him. But at 46, almost 47, it's almost impossible for, you know, I'm just 4 years older, 4 years older than him, and it's not easy to try to think you're going to get in shape and be able to perform like the way you were when you were in your 20s and 30s.
You think it's impossible for him to beat Mario Barrios right now?
Well, it's not impossible because he has power. You know, that he should have that power. Barrios is big and a strong boy, so I don't see that happening. But is it possible? Anything's possible. You know, George Foreman did it. There's been others that do it. You know, but I really don't see it happening.
But Pacquiao's speed's the name of his game.
Juan Manuel Marquez doesn't think that this will be an easy fight for either boxer, and he doesn't want to count Manny out. Juan stated, after 4 years of inactivity, we'll see how he comes back. After that knockout in 2012, he continued to fight and he looked pretty good, beating great fighters. Manny Pacquiao is a fighter who dedicates himself a disciplined fighter. It's not an easy fight for Mario Barrios. This is a battle of experience that favors the Filipino fighter, with his power and speed. The question now is how well he can perform in his return to the ring. Oscar de la Hoya still holds Manny to a certain level of expertise, and he thinks that it could help him out in a very tough fight with Mario.
Wish him all the best.
Quadra, I love him. Can he do it? Quadra?
Can he do it? Absolutely. Manny Pacquiao's he's a legend, you know. He's a legend. I think he can do it. Absolutely. I mean, it's not going to be easy.
I'm concerned. I don't want to stop anyone from making a living, from making money. But I'm very concerned with a guy, a great man, who's helped his people, who's fought for his people, who's lifted his people up, who's given away money to his people, probably too much, but he gave away money to his people, that is in a position now that he has to fight at 46 after 72 fights. I'm concerned. I just think you're playing with fire. That's all I think. Yeah, you can move around, you could move around, navigate a little bit, say this, say that, but there comes to a certain point with everything that no matter how much you move the furniture around, you still know what room you're in. You still know what room. You can't fool yourself. And he's in a room where he's 46 years old with 72 fights.
Eddie Hearn thinks that this fight is just all wrong, and he feels like Manny definitely shouldn't be fighting for the title after such a long time away. Eddie stated, he will never beat Barrios in a million years, number one, and I don't even rate Barrios. But yes, if Manny Pacquiao went and had a big win in boxing, then of course I'd put him in with our guys, and he was WBC world champion. But he won't, and he shouldn't be fighting, and he certainly shouldn't be fighting for the world title. But of course, I'm not going to sit here and go, oh no, it was disgraceful that he fought Barrios, so I'm standing firm and not letting any of my fighters fight him. Ricky Hatton is obviously concerned for Manny's safety, but he's more concerned about the fairness to other fighters who have been waiting for a title shot.
What do you make of it? Well, one, I hope he doesn't get hurt. I think there's every chance he could do. Secondly, I think how has he got to a world title shot? Fifth in the world, imagine if he was number 1 and 2 in the division and trained all your life to get there, and then Manny comes in after being retired 5 years or whatever it is, and goes into number 5 in the division.
Terence Crawford doesn't want to say anything bad about Manny, and he still thinks that there's a chance for him to come out with a win. Terence stated, I can't say if he's too old or not, If he gets in there and wins, then everybody will be saying differently, so I don't put no limit on an all-time great like Manny Pacquiao. Amir Khan believes that Mario deserves this fight more than anyone else, and he's at least happy for him. Amir stated, it's a fantastic fight for Mario. He needs that big fight, he'll be paid well, and fighting a legend like Manny Pacquiao, who would say no to that? Mario deserves this fight because every fighter wants that big payday. It will be fantastic for him. When me and Virgil were training together, I used to spar with him quite a lot. He's a very good boxer. I don't know how much Manny's got left in him. If they were in their prime, in their peak, then I'd say all day Manny Pacquiao. But this could be a tricky fight for Pacquiao. At the end of the day, he's been out of the ring for a long time, and has he still got the fire in his belly? Barrios, I'm sure he's going to come in wanting to win this fight because it can change his life. A long layoff, and at the same time you're always that one punch away from getting hurt. I'm sure he's got a great career ahead of him in politics. He doesn't need to come back, but sometimes you do miss the sport. Manny might miss not having that recognition, that love he used to get being a fighter. But I'm sure people will turn up to watch him. Mikey Garcia has been in the ring sparring with Manny Pacquiao before, and he has his own thoughts on the fight.
I'm sure. Manny's a legend, and big props to him, and I tip your hat off to him because stepping up to fight a young, hungry, champion, prime world champion like Barrios, that's tough. I gotta say, when it comes to a boxing fight, that fight, I gotta pick Barrios. He's in his prime. He's a solid world champ. Way younger than Manny. Years ago.
Needless to say, Jeff Mayweather isn't very happy with Manny jumping the queue and fighting for the world title.
Well, first of all, before I even talk about the fight, it seems that boxing has changed because this guy's been retired for what, 3 or 4 years?
What's his last fight, Thurman?
Yeah.
Been a while. He's 46 years old.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is that he's done nothing.
Yeah,
So, I mean, I don't understand why he's even fighting for him. No, I mean, he's been ranked. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, he's fighting a world champion from boxing.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not fighting some guy like Conor was a whole different breed. He was just the #1 guy in UFC. So, but no, I mean, the thing is that he's done nothing to actually be fighting for a world title, other than just his name and what he's done in his past.
We'll say, don't you think someone of his stature is legendary?
I said fighting right now that's fighting to try to get to that #1 spot, and basically you have a guy that hasn't fought in I don't know how many years, just jumps up and take your spot, and it may win a title.
But we see that all the time, right? Some guy wins it.
It has to be pertaining to any kind of money. You know, it has to be financial. I mean, any fighter that comes back, especially from retirement, a guy like Manny Pacquiao, it definitely has to do with money. 1, 2. I think Manny Pacquiao, I think his C game is a lot better than anybody, a lot of guys' A game, even with the age. But you have to take into account the last time he stepped foot in that ring against Ugas. You know, he didn't look good. He was outmatched by, you know, a fighter, a younger fighter. Barrios is no slouch. Barrios is a young fighter, you know, bigger fighter, knows how to, you know, control distance very well. Can punch a little bit. Like, he's no easy task for anybody in the welterweight division. And for Manny to come back after this long and to face a young guy like that is dangerous. And sometimes, you know, these old legends, they got to get beat up several times before they call it quits. You know, that Ugas fight, I don't know if it was enough for Pacquiao. That's why he's coming back. But Barrios, he can he can finish Pacquiao. There's a possibility that he can finish Pacquiao and basically cause him to go back into.
On the other hand, Sean Gibbons definitely believes that Manny could win this, and he sees it being a pretty equal and fair fight. Sean stated, "It's a 50-50 fight, but a very winnable fight for Manny. Barrios is the perfect fighter. He has the right style because he's there to be hit and he brings it. He wants to mix it up. Manny is like a fine bottle of wine and getting better and better as he ages. He hasn't lost his speed, power, or passion. He loves to fight. If I didn't think he could fight at the highest level, I would advise him against it and to do something else." Jim Lampley feels like Manny's urge to fight might be what motivated him to take the fight, but he understands the financial side of everything.
And, you know, it's just sad that he feels any reason or urge whatsoever. However, on the other hand, fighters fight. It's what they do. Hey, Jim Lampley was gone for 6 years. Was it stupid for him to choose to come back and fall a fight? Was it a risk? You know, was there a possibility that he could embarrass himself and fall on his face? Are there some viewers and listeners out there who think that's exactly what he did? Sure, that's possible. But I was back doing something I love and I was getting paid for it. So I understand why Manny wants to come back and do something he loves and get paid for it. But it's one thing to talk into a microphone when you've been a few years away and you're a little bit older. It's entirely a different thing to go in and hit and get hit. And he made ungodly, indescribable sums of money. So I wish it were enough, but I'm not surprised that it.
You know, what's the worst case scenario? Someone gets seriously hurt. Someone has like life-altering injuries, and that could happen in boxing. We've seen this. Manny Pacquiao isn't immune to this. He's been knocked out. He's been hit. He's not Floyd, who has been hardly hit. Like, he's been knocked out cold. I thought when he got knocked out by Marquez, I thought he died. It was that scary.
Yeah.
Remember that one? So
I do.
Ultimately, I'm most surprised that if it hasn't been officially announced, if it lands in Nevada or California, I'll be very surprised.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more exciting videos, make sure to hit the bell icon and stay updated.